Country Point Virtual Church. We're delighted that you have joined us today.
Alright, this one's for dads. I wrote it down, but I'm not gonna use it. I'll make this one real good. This one's from the heart, y'all. All the advertisements say I should get you a tie. But you and I both know you're not that kind of guy. You're a dad's dad. And also, I'm cash-strapped, so I can't get you a present that can't be gift-wrapped. Instead, here's a video, and with it, a poem dedicated to fathers and how much we own. If there was a dad election, you would lead in the polls. Online, you would even be #dadgoals. #dadgoals. That sounds pretty good. You'd be liked or retweeted. I'm sure that you would. But you're so much more than silly social media. You're right beside awesome in the encyclopedia. You're a dad, a hero. You know that's true. Dad, this dedication is all for you. Here's to the dads who wear sandals with socks. The dads who do chores like cleaning the cat box. The dads who have dance moves that might be a bit odd. To the ones that are not afraid to show off the dad bod. Here's to the dads sticking through the ups and downs. We love you even when you make lightsaber sounds. Yeah, you're a grown man, but the force is still with you. But we love all the dads, no matter the weather. If the world had more dads, the world would be better. Dads who are all in, not just dipping their toes in. Dads who know all of the lyrics to Frozen. The dads who show up. The dads who do tons. The dads who grill hot dogs, hamburgers, and buns. The dads who give high fives to make everything okay. Dads who aren't just on their phone for the whole day. Even though sometimes you have bad taste in music. Dads, don't you know, you love is therapeutic. Sometimes we might act like we don't really care, but deep down we really like having you there. It doesn't even matter how our time will be spent. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. Yeah, I know, right? Just you being there makes it awesome. Just be there, man. Taught me so many things, which sports team is best, who I am, where I'm going. I'm not just in the text. You taught me keep going. You taught me no quitting. What you do is so much more than what they call babysitting. You're a counselor, a teacher, a role model, a preacher, a coach, a friend, my personal ATM. Sorry about that. I just need a little bit of money. I don't have a job yet. While I know this is not one of your deepest affections, I like it when you have to stop and ask for directions. It's just another way to live your life and show. Sometimes I have to realize there's some things I don't know. You know I no longer find it a bother. When someone says you're turning into your father, it'll be a long time, but I might be a parent too. And I hope that I could say I'm a lot like you. Dad goals.
Happy Father's Day. Today we celebrate the men and the women who, either by birth or by choice, decided to play the role of father for a child. We thank you for making a difference in the life of that human being. Today, we have the benefit of listening to several men from our faith community as they share their journey of being parents. Let's listen.
Bringing our oldest home from the hospital, and then there was no being knighted as a father. It just was, okay, I'm the same guy now, same person. Now I have the responsibility of helping to take care of this little person that neither my wife nor I were trained or felt prepared to take care of.
Honestly, becoming a father, it was the tremendous responsibility that I felt on my shoulders, because I now had this little being that was going to be looking to me for support from that point forward in my life. And it was much bigger than I ever expected. The first time I had back problems, it was when Brandon was born. I'm like, oh my God, my back is killing me. I think it was just that responsibility.
I have been amazed that my love for my kids grows every day. And the only reason that amazes me is because the day that they were born, I didn't think I could love anybody anymore. I mean, when Ben was born, I didn't think it'd be possible for me to ever love anybody else, including another kid, as much. And when Nate was born, I realized, boom, I could love another kid just as much as Ben, but surely I wasn't capable of loving anybody any more than I love those two boys. And what I found is that every day that I love them more than I did the day before. And, you know, not all those days are great days, you know. I mean, most of being their dad has been pretty awesome, but, you know, there's less awesome times. Cars have been wrecked and other things, you know, but it doesn't seem to make any difference. No matter what happens, good or bad, I always end up just being a little bit more in love with those two boys, and I would not have thought that was possible based on how much I loved them when they first started out in this world.
Well, as a father, there is a gradual separation that takes place over the years, kind of a shift from being responsible for your child's actions to being responsible to your child. And knowing how and when to let go at times can really be difficult. When I consider the same question, though, about being a grandfather, I really can't say that I've run into any difficult situations right now. I absolutely love being a grandfather.
There's no question that the hardest thing about being a dad is saying goodbye. That is the thing that we have to deal with a lot these days. Whenever we're together, we always at some point now have to say goodbye because the boys both live pretty far away. And that has never been something I'm very good at. The first time we left Ben in Denver, I was a puddled up mess. And I just assumed that it would always get easier than that. That was going to be the worst one. And unfortunately, it's never gotten any easier. I'm always in just a wreck when I have to say goodbye to the boys. It's gotten now hard with Nate too, because now Nate lives, you know, Ben's in one part of the country, Nate's in another part of the country. I think I just have to learn to accept that, you know, the more you love somebody, the more things hurt when you got to say goodbye.
The joy of watching our son and daughter just flourish as two human beings. My son's 22, my daughter's 20, and they both have grown into just people. Two people that I'm very proud of.
Well, as far as being a father goes, I don't know about the easiest thing, but the most rewarding thing for me is actually seeing my children become college-educated, contributing adults, and realizing that they're well-equipped to handle life on their own. To me, that was my goal all the way through in raising them. And as far as the easiest thing about being a grandfather, it's everything.
I find that I have pride easily in almost everything my kids do. And my kids have some real special gifts. I mean, Ben's a talented musician who has just a uncanny ear for sound and tone and music that blows me away. And I'm just amazed by his talent. And Nate is this talented artist who's doing things in all different types of media, in film and in art pieces themselves, and even in fashion. He's just this incredibly creative person. Pride for my boys comes pretty easy for me. I'm lucky that they give me a lot of things to be proud of.
Please join me in a short prayer for the fathers in our world. God, in your plan for creation, you gave fathers a sacred responsibility for the generations that follow them. Like mothers, fathers play an enormously important role. It needs to be celebrated, it needs to be taken seriously, and it needs to be viewed for what it is, a lifelong commitment. With this in mind, today we ask these things for fathers. That they give love freely to their children, no strings, no expectations, no guilt, no manipulation. That they encourage their children to be independent and see that they are also interdependent on others. That they recognize the importance of the behavior they model as fathers and refrain from punishing a child for copying it. And that as fathers, they balance strength with empathy, anger with compassion, and support with healthy boundaries. Please bless all fathers today and every day. Thank you, God. Amen.
My son said to me when he was about 5, "Dad, why are we here?" And I don't know if we were sitting in the house or something. I said, "Well, we're here in the living room because we're waiting for dinner." And he said, No, why are we here?" And so I said, "You mean here on Earth, on this planet, and what's God's plan?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Boy, I have no idea. What do you think?" So things like that, I just, the experience really had me thinking about, okay, how is God playing a hand in helping to raise this soul on this planet? And I had similar experiences with my daughter.
Well, having children changed me from being an atheist into an agnostic. That's the first thing. Living, breathing babies will do that to you. And with that agnosticism came some hope. And then as they grew up, they became catalysts for me becoming a person that wasn't just a person of hope, but a person who had faith. If my kids hadn't been in the picture, I would not likely have come to God, nor would I have ever learned to trust God. And the way I value my relationship with my higher power today, it's on a plane with my family and my sobriety as far as importance to me. These are the most important things in my life: my God, my family, and my sobriety. And there's no doubt that those two boys changed everything for me.
So I have a couple of things I want to share about this one. In both cases, it has strengthened my spiritual connection. My son and his husband had to go a non-traditional route for having a child. And while there were a number of challenges that they faced, not the least of which was that it all started at the start of the pandemic and had to go on hold and then restart. But the fact that they have a child at all is absolutely a miracle to me. And it is something that has truly strengthened my faith. The second thing I want to share is that seeing my granddaughter just develop in the first 2 months of her life, human development is absolutely magical. It's nothing short of magic. Just watching the evolution of a person over time is miraculous. There's no other word for it.
I would say, for me, it's keeping a balance. So having a friendship with your children, but you're not a buddy. Being a guide and a mentor, if you will, without telling them what to do, but helping guide them when appropriate, and letting them make their own decisions when appropriate. And that's difficult to do, and it's also age appropriate. So it's always changing based on how old they are, and not only how old they are in age, but where their levels of maturity are. And then finally, how the need to interact with your kids differently, because they are different. So it's not a one size fits all. One of the attributes that I would want potential prospective parents to understand is that flexibility is a skill that is very helpful when parenting.
Don't get into it unless you're prepared to give it 100%. There are few roles more important than being a parent. babies and toddlers, they're cute, but your responsibilities to that child go well beyond those stages and really don't end if you really take them seriously. You will be a parent for as long as you both live. And it can be exhilarating, it can be frustrating, it can be frightening, it can be explosive, overwhelming, and so much more. So don't take it lightly. My dad valued education, and he valued his Catholic faith, and he worked hard. He was an incredible hard worker, and he taught me that hard work pays, and that he sacrificed to put 6 kids through Catholic elementary school because that was really important to him, even though they really arguably didn't have the money to do that. And then we were kind of on our own to go to college, but it was that inspiration and that work ethic and that responsibility to family that really went deep to my heart, and it's something that I've always carried with me. And it's just something I'll always be grateful to him for.
You know, the thing that I've learned that to me is the most important thing about being a father, I learned from actually somebody else's dad. I remember coming back from college with my roommate and giving him a ride home from Bloomington, and when we got to his place, he invited me in to say hello to his folks, and as we walked in the front door of the house, his dad, who was sitting in the living room watching TV, saw my friend and jumped up, came across the room, and walked up and planted a big kiss on him. And I remember being kind of uncomfortable in that moment, because that's not something I was familiar with. My dad and my stepdad are more likely to shake your hand or pat you on the head or slap you on the back. You know, that's the way they show affection. I was not used to being kissed by another man, you know. And in that moment, I looked at that and I said, you know, my friend's dad really loves him, you know. And I just made a decision at that moment that if I ever had boys, no matter how old they were, I was going to kiss them. And I started kissing my boys the day they were born, and I've never stopped. And I never will, you know, even when they don't like it. I don't stop kissing them because I want them to know and never forget, you know, just even for a minute, that along with their mother, they're the most important things in my life. So if I was going to give anybody advice, if you're not kissing your kids, kiss your kids.
So one of the beauties of being a father is the opportunity to be a grandfather, and I can't say how enjoyable it is to be the grandfather to a 3.5-year-old granddaughter who earlier this week said, "Grandpa, knock, knock." And I say, "Who's there?" And she says, "Boo." And I say, "Boo-hoo." She says, "Oh, Grandpa, don't cry." And so the early attempts at humor are just absolutely delightful. And it reminds me that when you're a father or a mother and you have your own kids, you're caught up in the day-to-day, 24-hour-a-day anxieties and demands of child rearing. When you're a grandfather or a grandmother, it's this delightful opportunity to be with them from time to time, and usually or oftentimes when they're well-behaved and curious, and we can spoil them. So Father's Day to me is very much appreciating the opportunity to get to know Sophia and also to watch our son and daughter-in-law be such wonderful parents. So thanks. Have a great Father's Day.
Dad, what about me makes you proud?
Oh, man.
Dad, what about me makes you proud?
Dad, what about me makes you proud?
Oh, man. Dad, what about me makes you proud?
And I have to answer that one? Yes. Just about everything that you do. You're loving. You're funny. I could go on and on.
What makes me proud about you is you just being yourself.
I had trouble with alcohol. It was actually an intervention. Even with all the other people there, you were the real reason that I made the decision to go into the treatment center that I did, and thank you.
Thank you. You're helpful. Yeah, you forgot the funny part.
I'm grateful to you for choosing to stay when I was little. Why am I crying?
At the time when I'm graduating and I'm packing up and leaving, then it's really gonna hit me. And
I think about a time when if you're not around, like that would be awful. But like you're the person that would always laugh.
Dad, I'm grateful because we didn't know how long you were going to be with us, so we're so happy that you're still here.
Dad, I'm proud of you for knowing that the most important thing was to just give your kids so much time.
I've always been impressed by you. You made it easy.
Thanks.
I miss having the chance to just check in with you. I miss your sketchbooks.
I love you. I love you too.
We don't say it enough.
Hey.
I love you, Dad.
It doesn't compute until they're gone. So tell them now.
Thank you for watching our service today. We hope that you have a wonderful week ahead and that you will join us next Sunday at Conner Prairie. At that service, I will be talking about the 5 things that we cannot change in this life, no matter how hard we try. Bring a friend and join us. See you there.